So this is a video of me going over the 8.2 through 8.4 quiz, which is on volume. So the first question says, what is the volume of a rectangular prism that is 4 inches wide, 9 inches long, and 3 inches high? And we need to notice that this is a rectangular prism. So the volume is equal to the base times the height. The base would be equal to the length times the width, and then we multiply it times the height. So we're going to do 4 times 9 times 3, and that's going to give us 108 inches, and it was inches here, and we're going to cube that because it's volume, and volume's a three-dimensional object. So number 2 says, what is the volume of a cylinder with a diameter of 22 centimeters and a height of 13 centimeters? Give your answer in terms of pi and to the 10th. So we need to give two answers here. So the first thing we need to do is our formula for volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times height. And I notice immediately that I don't have r, I have a diameter. So the first thing I need to do is divide that 22 by 2 because there are two radiuses in a diameter. So our radius is going to be equal to 11. Then I notice here that our height is 13. So we're going to do 11 squared times 13, and I'm going to put pi last because I want to leave it in my first answer. So my first answer is going to be 1573 when I multiply that, pi, and again it's going to be centimeters cubed. When I multiply that by pi in my calculator, I get 4,941.7 centimeters cubed, and it told me to round this to the 10th, which is 1 decimal place. So number 3 says, what is the volume of a square pyramid with a base area of 4 square meters and a height of 6 meters? So it has a base area of 4 and a height of 6. Square pyramid, again, volume is equal to base times height, and it's times 1/3, but I'm going to divide it by 3. So our base is 4, our height is 6, and we're going to divide that by 3, so that's 24 divided by 3, that's 8, and again we've got meters here, so this is going to be meters cubed. So number 4 is, in 5 it says find the volume, give both the exact answer and the approximate rounded to the nearest hundredth when appropriate. So on this one, when we're talking about the volume of a prism, it is again base times height, and our base here is got a length and a width. So I'm going to say volume is equal to length times width times height. So that's going to be length times width times height. So that's going to be 6 times 4 times 6. When I do that, I get 144. And we notice that it's miles, so it's going to be 144 miles cubed. Over here on the right, number 5, this is a cone, and our formula for a cone is, again, volume is equal to 1/3 base times height, or 1/3 pi r squared, because that's a circle. Sorry, that should be squared. Pi r squared times the height. So our radius is here, and our height is here. So our radius is 6. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do 6 squared times 12, and I'm going to divide all that by 3 because, again, when I divide by 3, it's the same as multiplying by 1/3. So when I do that, I get 144 pi. Pi was here. So that's equal to 144 pi. So I'm going to put the exact up here for 144 pi. And again, my unit here was yards, so I'm going to say yards cubed. And then the next one for the approximate, I'm actually going to multiply that by pi, and that gives me 452.39, and I did it to 2 decimal places because it told me to round to the nearest hundredth, and then that's yards cubed as well. So number 6 is finding the volume of a sphere, and that formula is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. So I notice here that I don't have a radius, I have a diameter. So I know that I'm going to have to divide this number by 2, so my radius is equal to 2. So I'm going to do 2 to the third. I'm going to multiply that times 4, and then I'm going to divide by 3 and add pi to it. So that's going to give me 8 times 4 divided by 3. When I do that, I get 10.67 pi. So this is 10.67 pi. So that's what I'm going to put up here for my exact, 10.67 pi. And my unit here is miles. So I'm going to do miles cubed. And then I'm going to multiply 10.67 times pi. And when I do that, I'm going to get 33.51 miles cubed. Number 7 says a cube with the edge length of 13. Well, it has the word cube here, and I know that this has a length, a width, and a depth, and a height. So I'm going to do 13 to the third because every one of those dimensions is going to be 13 here. So when I take 13 to the third power, I get 2197 inches cubed again because that was my unit. So number 8 says find the volume of a rectangular pyramid with a base of 6 feet and a width of 3 feet and a slant height of 5 feet. One of the first things I want to tell y'all is this is a flawed problem. So my students, I went ahead and accepted it. If you did that the volume of the pyramid is base times height divided by 3. And the reason I say it's flawed is because we can only have a slant height either in a cone where it's a right cone, right angle there, or when it's a square pyramid. And I discovered this, I was trying to do the answer to this, and I realized that there were 2 different dimensions in the base. So on this one, I'm going to actually do 6 times 3, that's my base, times my height, that's 5, and then I'm going to divide it by 3. When I do that, I get 90 divided by 3. So this is 90 divided by 3. So that would be 30. And again, we got feet here, so it's going to be feet cubed. Number 9 says find the volume of the hemisphere. So the volume of a sphere is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. Now we're going to have to find that and then divide the whole thing by 2. So here, our radius is 11, so we're going to do 11 cubed times 4 divided by 3, and then when we get that answer, we're going to divide it by 2 because we have half a sphere here. So when we get this answer on top, we get 1774.67, and then we're going to divide that by 2. And we're going to add pi to it. So when we do that, for our exact answer, we get 887.33 pi, and it's inches cubed again because our dimension here was inches, and we're talking about volume. Now our approximate, when we multiply it by pi, is going to be 2,787.64. And again, it's going to be inches cubed. So on this last problem, number 10, it says if the radius on a sphere is tripled, what is the effect on the volume? Now we have 2 key terms here. We got this term tripled. That means we're multiplying the radius by 3, and then we have this term effect. So what I told my students was you cube the effect. So tripled is this 3 right here, and then because it's volume, we're going to take that to the third power. So 3 to the third power is 27. So this thing's going to get 27 times bigger. So the answer is 27 times bigger.